All right, let's get to the trade today. This as demand for exchange-traded products focused on European equities was so strong last year in 2025 that they attracted a decade in a year of inflows. That's according to BlackRock's Ursula Marchioni, head of investment and portfolio solutions for EMEA at the world's largest asset manager. She caught up interview with Bloomberg TV this morning over with our European colleagues. Check it out.
From investors with historical own bias towards Europe, that has to be rectified. But then on the flip side, from a more tactical perspective, there is this desire to diversify and remain exposed to the AI trade and to the US, but with some form of protection. And so we've seen last year the great repatriation trade with nearly 92 billion of flows going back into European equities ETPs. If you compare it to the period 2014 to 2024, that was 94. So it's basically a decade in a year.
It's pretty remarkable. A decade in a year. That was BlackRock's Ursula Marchioni, head of investment portfolio solutions for EMEA. Let's get to the trade and today's trade and what she's seeing on the Robinhood platform. Stephanie Guild is with us, Chief Investment Officer at Robinhood Markets. Did that resonate with what you're seeing on the Robinhood platform, or is that completely different than what you're seeing on the platform?
We haven't actually seen a ton of international take up, at least here in the US. You've seen a little bit in the Chinese tech aspect, like in names like Baba, but largely it's been a very US focused, AI and lots of other investing themes focused over the last year.
Why do you think that is?
I think our customers take sort of a long-term view, and they like to invest in things that they know and understand, really no different than, past generations. And I think they feel that they know and understand, tech and can understand kind of the long-term secular growth trends that can come from parts of tech, and are willing to take that risk, even if it's in the space like quantum computing, which is still, in sort of discovery phase.
Do you think that has to do with some of who are actually on your platform? In other words, the demographics that I think, I don't know.
Then maybe they've only seen U.S. equities outperform, right? Like
exactly.
That's not the world that you lived in for much of what you've done.
Right. It could be absolutely part of it. I mean, it's the same kind of thing as like, has a generation ever seen value outperform growth?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here in the U.S.
It's so funny that you say that. I on Friday was at a big dinner and was talking with someone who has started companies, sold them, now investing their own money, and just talked about some of the big wealth managers who come to him and say, you should be buying the market, and paying me a fee for doing that and so on and so forth. And he's like, you know what? I haven't bought the market. I've actually doubled down on those big tech names and have outperformed the market, even though if you think about the last few years, people keep saying, oh, back off some of these, it's time to diversify. You know what? If you didn't, you did really well. And especially if you played on those Mag 7 names.
Yeah, I do think it's shifting now. Like I'm sort of a student of looking at the market and saying that once you had sort of a post-COVID world, I do think the fact that we have interest rates has shifted what is possible and can outperform. And there was, COVID kind of brought tech right into front and center and the need for it. But I think as more time goes on, and especially with some of the incentives from the One Big Beautiful Bill and other, that I think it's possible that you can start to see other things do well.
And yet the net buys on your platform, right? Meta, Microsoft, I'm thinking about, we're going to have for the Mag 7 reporting this week alone, including these two names, net sales, NVIDIA, AMD, and CoreWeave, which is interesting because CoreWeave rallying in today's session, but that's what you've seen in
thanks
the last...
to an NVIDIA investment.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, and that's over the last week, so
Okay.
It does shift. What was also interesting over the last week is that I saw, and you kind of saw this news all across the X platform, but you saw below those top names a number of software companies starting to come into the net buy side. So taking advantage of the pretty deep sell-off in that space. And then more recently, just like in the last day, we've seen some Netflix buying as well.
Was that because of the Alex Honnold stunt over the weekend? Just 30 seconds?
Might be. Obviously there's a lot of drama with Netflix right now.
Yeah, there is. It's been beat up ever since the announcement that they're going after Warner Brothers Discovery's assets. So investors don't love it, but they keep steady with, hey, we want those assets and we'll pay for them.
They still have a solid business underneath it.
It's pretty. Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, good stuff.
Stephanie, good to see you as always. Appreciate your time.
Come back soon. Love talking with her. She is Chief Investment Officer over at Robinhood Markets.